Hey, baby. Oh, no, Jeremy! Oh, have you completely lost your mind?
Hey, gorgeous, you are not gonna believe the steal I got on this bad boy.
You mean the steal someone else got on us, bad boy? Because you know, as well as I do, Jeremy, we can't afford a flat screen TV for this house.
Oh, but baby.
Don't tell me you had to take out another credit card to get this thing.
Now, sweetheart, just stop there. Before you get too worked up and say anything else, just know, I wasn't stupid about this thing. The new credit card I got, it has a 0% interest rate for an entire year. So by the summertime, when I get promoted, this won't even matter.
Jeremy.
Wait, there's more. When I bought this 50-inch beauty, it came with 5 free DVDs. Beloved, Oprah, The Breakfast Club, for your girl nights. And of course, I got your favorite, The Notebook. Isn't that thoughtful of me?
Okay. I got your pitch. Now catch this, babe. I love you. And you are, to me, mountains more important than any flat screen could ever be. But you are a child when it comes to our spending.
Baby!
Wait! This will be our 4th credit card, and we're already behind on 2.
I know, but...
Stop! But you know, now I think about it, I thank God he's brought this all to a head because I'm now certain of 3 things. That flat screen is going to be returned. That credit card is going to be canceled. And this couple is going to get some help because we can't afford to keep living beyond our means.
Hello, my name is Greg Vaughn, and I'd like to welcome you to session number 6, entitled Relating with Money. This session features my good friend Dave Ramsey. Dave is the host of the nationally syndicated radio talk show, The Dave Ramsey Show, heard on more than 450 radio stations across the nation. Dave is the best-selling author of books like Financial Peace, More Than Enough, and his latest book, The Total Money Makeover. The lesson you're about to watch is part of Dave's 13-week class called Financial Peace University. More than 1 million families have gone through this program, taught in churches, workplaces, community centers, and military installations around the country. I love this lesson on relating with money, and I hope you'll be inspired to check out all the other great lessons as well. You can learn more about Financial Peace University at daveramsey.com. But now it's time to open your workbooks and let's get started as Dave shows couples how to put an end to money fighting and ultimately win as a team.
In this lesson, we are going to be talking about relating with money. Free spirits and nerds unite. Open up your workbooks to that lesson and get ready. As you're doing that, I want to tell you an old story. I'm sure it's not true, but it's funny and it makes my point, so I'm going to use it anyway. There's a story that's told of George Bush Sr. and probably the best first lady that we've ever had, his wife Barbara. And they were campaigning their way across Texas in one of the presidential campaigns, and of course that's their home state, so they knew everybody. And the presidential limo with the SUVs and the whole bit pulls up to a gas station because it's running out of gas. And so the gas station attendant sees all of this and he runs outside, and of course you and I don't get this service, but he runs outside and he starts pumping gas because he wants to say he's pumped the gas in the presidential limo. Well, Barbara looks up and recognizes the guy, jumps out of the car, runs around the car, gives him a big hug. They stand back there, yak it up for a little while. And she gets back in the car in a few minutes, and George says, "Who was that?" And she said, "Well, that was my old boyfriend in high school." And George gets this big grin on his face, and he said, now let me get this straight. You are married to the most powerful man in the world, the president of the leading economic force in the world, the United States of America. You could have married him, and then you'd be the wife of a gas station attendant. And she said, oh, George, don't be silly. If I had married him, he'd be president. Proverbs 31 says, who can find a virtuous wife? For her worth is far above rubies. The heart of her husband safely trusts her, and he will have no lack of gain. Interesting. Let me introduce you to my wife, Sharon Ramsey. As you can see, I'm an excellent salesman. But Sharon and I have an agreement. She has agreed to stay married to me if I don't ask her to do public speaking. So she gets to come out here and just say hi this way and get to meet you guys, but I wanted you to see the reason for my success. Thanks. When we're dealing with money in relationships, when we're dealing with money in our personal lives, when we're dealing with money in our families, the flow of money in a family represents the value system under which that family operates. Jesus said it this way. He said, where your treasure is, your heart will be also. So what you do with money screams loudly who you are. Larry Burkett used to say it's kind of the checkbook autobiography. Back in the days when we used to keep a checkbook, or if you keep it on Quicken or something, if you look at your checkbook register, where your money goes tells us what's important to you, tells you what's important to you. And men and women are different in how we process this stuff. We're different in how we process everything, and money is no exception to that statement. Gary Smalley says men love to share facts. Women love to share feelings. Men connect by doing things. Guys go hunting together. We do things together. We work on the car together. We do whatever. We do things together. Women connect by talking. Guys can hang out all day. My son and I drove 2.5 hours after a football game home and didn't say a word, and we were perfectly okay with that. Women would have thought that was psychotic. We operate differently. We're perfectly okay with these differences too. Dennis Rainey, who is a Christian family counselor, marriage counselor, has a wonderful radio show. He says that women and men have a different verbal level. Men speak 30 to 50,000 words a day. Women speak somewhere from 50 to 70,000 words a day, with gusts up to 125,000. We are different. Gary Smalley says men tend to be controlling. Women tend to remain agreeable. Women would say amen. Men tend to be independent. Women tend to be interdependent. Another great thing to read if you've ever gotten married or ever thought about getting married is John Gray's book, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. And he talks about the differences of men and women. He says, men define ourselves by our ability to achieve results, where women, on the other hand, tend to define themselves by the quality of their relationships. And all these differences come up big time in the way we handle money and the way we interact. And so we've got to take this into consideration if we want to have financial peace, two words that don't go together. When it comes to the emergency fund, men say it's boring, it's not sophisticated enough. I could do something better with that $10,000 or $15,000 in baby step 3, which is a fully funded emergency fund of 3 to 6 months of expenses. I could invest that in a good mutual fund or something, but Dave says just to put it in a money market account and it not make much money. That's boring, it's not sophisticated enough. Women, on the other hand, say it's the most important key to our financial plan. It's the most important key to our financial plan. I need all the men in the room to stand up, please. All the men to stand up, please. Thank you, men. Now, guys, if you're married or you ever hope to be, listen to me really carefully for a minute. I don't know if you know this or not, but as we've been discussing, men and women are different. And that's a good thing. And they're different in how we look at this emergency fund thing. There are two things we're going to teach you while you go through Financial Peace University that will revolutionize your marriage if you allow it to. One of them is the emergency fund, and the other is doing a budget. And we're going to talk about both of those things tonight in the context of singles and in the context of a marriage situation. So guys, what I got to get you to understand right now is somewhere right down in here, your lady has a gland that you don't have. It's called the security gland. And if she is feeling insecure because of the money situation, that gland spasms. And it is attached to her face. So an emergency fund is actually an investment in a pretty wife. Her face relaxes because her security gland relaxes. When you have $10,000 or $15,000 in the bank and you know that you're not going to touch it, and she knows that you're not going to touch it, you don't even touch the emergency fund for emergencies. It allows her to relax in a place you don't even have. Am I right, ladies? So the message, guys, is you don't have to get it. You just got to get it. You need to do that emergency fund, and it's an investment in your marriage. Thanks, guys. Have a seat. And if you look carefully at the screen, guys, you're going to see what will happen if you do not get an emergency fund. When it comes to going shopping, men get good deals by negotiating. I can go in, I want those deals. I want to go out there and I'm just going to walk through the electronics store, the furniture store, and I'm going to kill everybody in the store until I get a good deal. I don't have to go shopping. I'm just going to drop an atom bomb on that one place. I'm going in there, I'm going to go, I want a deal, right? And I'm going to use all my techniques, and I'm going to get in people's face. I'm going to do whatever. I'm going to negotiate. I'm going to get a deal. We get good deals by, a lot of times, just straight old-fashioned confrontation. Where ladies tend to get good deals by hunting and hunting and hunting and hunting and hunting and hunting. And they forgot what they were looking for, but they're still hunting. You know, we went to a marriage conference a long time ago, and the guy did a really good job. And he did have one suggestion, though, that was honestly, it was just stupid. He said, if you want to have some real intimacy with your wife and really have some high quality communication, go shopping with her, guys. This is not a smart man. He is not a smart man. I mean, you think about it. I'm up here for 5 or 6 hours. It doesn't bother me a bit. My feet don't hurt. I can go all day. I've got plenty of energy. I get out of the car, walk into the mall, my feet hurt to my neck. I mean, what's up with that? I don't understand how that works, but that's how it works, isn't it? And Smalley talks about this. He says, here's how a shopping trip looks like for most people. You know, we get out of the car and we go to this mall together, or we're going somewhere. We're going to go get something together, right? And the guy gets out of the car and says, identify the target. You know, we're going to get our handheld GPS and map out the quickest way to the store. And we're going to go straight to the store with the best deal, having searched on the web while we're on our way for efficiency. And we get in there, we get the best deal, we analyze which line is going the fastest, and in the cash register, we get in line, we go through the most efficient line, we're back to the car, let's time it, go, click. Identify the target. And the lady goes, whoa, you just don't get this, do you? See, we're supposed to enjoy this process. It's not just about the task, it's the process. We have to go in every store. We have to touch everything in every store. We have to try a whole lot of it on, buy most of it, discuss the checkout girl's family problems with her as we're going out, and then tomorrow we're going to bring most of it back. So Sharon and I figured this deal out. We're not going to try to swim upstream, okay? We know that we're not going shopping together and have a good marriage. That's not going to happen. But we have figured out she's really good at hunting and hunting and hunting. She'll go through Consumer Reports. She'll search on the web and look at eBay, and she'll go find the best deal over here and the best sale over there. And then I'm really good at negotiating, so much so that when we go out, she's kind of a sweet, Southern Belle little lady. And she doesn't like to be embarrassed. And we go in some of these stores with me with my $100 bills out, and she goes, "You embarrass me." You're going, yeah, well, that's just one of the side benefits of this negotiating thing. So we just don't even try all of that. What we figured out is she hunts it down, then I go kill it. So we're going to work with these opposites thing and make it work. When it comes to financial problems, we see the difference in men and women. When we're struggling financially, if you're hurting and you're stressed out, you're behind on the bills, the guys lose self-esteem. Men lose self-esteem because money represents a scorecard to men. So ladies, listen carefully. If you're in here and you're married or you're in a marriage situation and you're struggling financially, your guy does not feel like Sir Galahad right now. His sword is a little rusty. He has some moss on his armor. And the last thing he needs in the middle of that is a barking chihuahua around his ankles. My mama said, he may find one last use for that sword. Guys, you need to look at this. When you're in financial trouble, women face fear. Sharon made us change it. She said the word is terror. Because money with ladies, as we said, represents security. There's that security gland. So if you're in here and you're struggling financially, don't let the stress of those financial things take your marriage. Guys, you need to step up. She needs an extra 3 to 6 non-sexual hugs a day. Some of you guys need to look up non-sexual. This is touch that's not going anywhere. Touch for the purpose of reassurance. Touch that says, when we got married, we didn't have anything. If we go back to not having anything, that'll be okay as long as I'm with you. I don't want to lose everything, but if I do, as long as we come out of this together, we're going to be okay. Touch says that. And you need to say that out loud, guys, because she's afraid in a place you don't have at that moment. She's not weaker than you. They're actually more resilient, ladies are, in financial stress than guys are in a lot of ways. But they need that touch. They need that reassurance as a part of the program. So step up, gentlemen, in that situation. Now, the number one cause of divorce in North America today is money fights. Money is the one thing people say they argue about the most in marriage, according to a Stanley and Markman study. 7 out of 10 couples disagree about financial issues, according to an article in USA Today. 57% of divorced couples said that financial disputes were the primary reason they did not get along, according to a study done by Citibank. It's the number one thing that breaks up marriages. Hear me again. The number one thing that breaks up marriages, money problems and money fights. If it's the number one problem, then it's also what Larry Burkett used to say, it's the number one opportunity in our marriages to take them to a better level, to take a good marriage and make it fabulous, to take one that's struggling and looks like it's not going to make it and bring it back together and let it heal. And you can do that through stuff like doing a budget, like agreeing on our spending, because when we agree on our spending, again, we're agreeing on our value system, and that is absolutely vital. See, the deal is this. When you get married, what happens is, the preacher lies to us, doesn't he? He says, and now you are one. You remember that? Do you remember the first year? Yeah, your mama's ugly too. You remember the first year, right? See, so when we do, we go down the aisle, dun, 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 right? And the preacher comes down and he says, okay, we're going to tie the knot, right? Well, when we get ready to tie that knot, the problem is stuff gets in the knot, doesn't it? And you grew up in a household where your parents spent everything they made. And she grew up in a household where they saved everything they made. And that was cute when you were dating. And it's not cute anymore. It becomes a potential destructive force. There's a knot going on right there in the money. And it's, I want to save money. I want to give money. I want a new washer and dryer. I want a bass boat. I want to go on vacation. I'm worried about retirement. Dave Ramsey said, and we get all of that in there, right? Every bit of that's in there, right? And you get this whole thing going on. But what we have discovered is this. If you will sit down together, if you will learn to work together, agree on your spending, because when you agree on your spending, again, you agree on your value system, you're agreeing on your goals, you're agreeing on your dreams, you're even agreeing on your fears. And so when you agree on all of that, what happens is the budget takes all the knots out of your marriage and you get oneness in your marriage and unity. See, what happens is, Dennis Rainey says we get married, and one of us has a floor plan for a 2-story, and that's our value system and how we're going to build a house. Another has a floor plan for a tri-level, and that's our value system and how we're going to build a house. If we don't get together and change that blueprint to where it looks like it's the same blueprint, we build a pretzel. When you agree on your value system, you will reach a level of unity in your marriage. But if that doesn't work, you can always adopt that international sign of money in marriage. So who does the financial decision making in your household? Who's supposed to do it? Some people say, well, the man should do it. And other people say, women are much smarter, they should do it. The truth is, both of you should do it. Both of you should do the financial decision making. Both of you have to. The one with the natural gift for details can prepare the budget, but the decision making should be done by both of you. Now, typically, not only do opposites attract in the sense of men and women are different, but opposites attract in other things too. One of you is late for everything, and the other one is on time. Have to be on time for everything. You have to be early for everything. One of you was up at 6 o'clock in the morning going, we have to get over there. We want to get a good seat. We have to get over there. I want to get a good parking place. Did you see the parking? I've got to get a good seat. And the other one's going, look, they're not going to really say anything important for the first hour anyway. You know? It's that way at our house. I have to be on time for everything. I'm like the nerd of the family, right? My wife, it doesn't matter. She'll get there sometime. It's okay. And, you know, when our kids were little, we lose our religion getting ready for church. I'm like, by the time we get there, Jesus is going to be gone. And one Sunday, she used this line that Steve and Annie Chapman, friends of ours that do ministry to the family, use. Steve's got a great sense of humor, and she used it on me. She said, this Sunday, why don't we trade places? You get the kids ready, and I'll go out in the driveway and honk the horn. Opposites attract. One of you's in here burning up right now, and the other one's freezing to death. You ever have those thermostat wars at your house? It's not cold. Yes, it is. It's not cold. Yes, it is. And back and forth. I threatened to get one of those locking glass things over it like you have at the office, you know? Just keep your hands off of it. The concept of a thermostat is it adjusts itself, you know? And now I'm hot, now I'm cold. And we're back and forth, opposites attract. One of you's a spender, one of you's a saver. And that's a good thing. You need each other. You spenders need a saver in your life so you don't retire and have to buy that cookbook, 72 Ways to Prepare Alpo, and love it. You savers need a spender in your life so you have a life. And typically what happens is the nerd, the one that is very organized, you know, the detail person, the underwear drawer is folded, must be on time, everything has a place, really enjoys for the bills to be paid on time. Late, oh, don't give me a late charge. Oh. How many of you are like me? I'm a nerd at my house. Or if you're the nerd at your house, raise your hand. Come on, be proud, nerds. Come on. You know, nerds are very precise. They're having to think about this for a moment. Maybe I am a nerd, and I wouldn't want to have a problem with my integrity. I'll have to think this through, you know. But nerds are very, very precise people, right? We have to have things the way they're supposed to be. That's the way it's supposed to be. And I want my shirt tail to be tucked in just right. I looked in the mirror before I came out here. It's not perfect, and it's bothering me. You know, that's the way it is with nerds, right? That's how you do things. So the nerd likes doing the budget. It gives them this sense of power, this sense of control. Some nerds are real big-time control freaks, but all nerds are at least a little bit a control freak. You know what I'm saying? And we're actually going to introduce some folks to you. We're going to introduce the nerd. We've arranged to have a nerd visit with us tonight, and a free spirit too for that matter. But first, let me introduce you to our nerd for the evening. Dan is our nerd for the evening. Come out, Dan. That's funny, ha-ha. My team thinks that we need to dress the nerd like me. That's cute, guys. That's very cute, guys. I really like that. Now, thank you very much. All right, and the free spirit is the one that they don't feel cared for. We nerds think we're caring for everyone. The free spirit instead feels controlled. They feel told what to do. The free spirit is like, how many of you in here are free spirits? Raise your hand. See, they always start a wave. Woohoo! You know, they didn't hesitate. Yeah, baby, we're free spirit. Yeah, when's the break? Give me some refreshments. I'm a free spirit. You know, I'm sure glad this thing's funny. I was afraid it was going to be boring. You know, this is the free spirit, right? And the free spirit, they're mature, they're adults too. They just believe in having a thing called a life. They don't really get a high out of 3-generation spreadsheets. They don't understand, you know? They don't want to click the third tab over, and they don't want to spend hours and hours and hours looking at the details. They want to vote. They want to be part of the program. And Susan is going to be our free spirit for the evening. Come out, Susan. You all give Susan a big round of applause. So what happens is the nerd and the free spirit get married, but they don't really become one, do they? No. Instead, we start this fight thing, because the first thing that'll happen is the nerd goes, oh no, I've married one of those. And what do? You know, we go up on the mountain and we talk to God about the budget. And we come down from the mountain having prepared the budget on a stone tablet, a little bit of a sunburn, like Charlton Heston. And you know, we come out and we come to the free spirit and the rest of the family, say, family, I've been talking to God, and this is our budget. This is what we nerds do, isn't it? And the free spirit goes, yeah, I'll look at that when I get back from Home Depot or Victoria's Secret. I'm going to the mall to bust your budget. And the nerd goes, oh, no. And we nerds, if we're not careful, we're like running around with a pooper scooper all the time trying to clean up your all's messes. And the free spirit's going, you are a freak, you know? Get away from me, you Fruit Loop. You know, and this fight, this constant tension, some marriages go through this. This is real world, isn't it? Say yes. Yes. Some marriages go through this for decades and don't even realize there's all this tension in the air. They kind of just tolerate it, or they go to their corners and go, okay, you pay your bills and I'll pay my bills. We're not really married. We're just going to have a joint venture. And the nerd's like, you're too irresponsible. And the free spirit's like, you're too controlling. And we're just all this clash of the titans going on. And it doesn't make for a high-quality marriage. As a matter of fact, we just said this, it's the #1 cause of divorce. As opposites attract, and men and women are different anyway, when you put all of that in the soup with money, it makes a mess. But we figured out a way to solve it. It's called the budget committee meeting. It's your only hope for learning how to communicate. So here's what we're going to do. Those of you that are like me, and Dan, we're the nerds. Raise your hand, nerds. Okay. See, the nerds are like very precise. Right? So nerds, raise your hand again one more time. Good. All right, nerds. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to do a budget. In the super saving lesson, when we said go home and do the quickie budget, you almost had it done before you got out of the parking lot. And you've already read 3 or 4 chapters ahead, and you know what I'm going to be saying next because you'd rather skip over the jokes and get to the point. Okay? And you're already filling out the evaluation in the back, you know? And you were told not to already, you know, but you can't help yourself. That kind of a thing, right? That's the nerd. So go ahead and prepare the budget, because if we wait on the free spirits, it's not going to happen. Let's not kid ourselves, okay? So prepare the budget, and we're going to teach you in the budgeting lesson how to do that, but the basics of budgeting is you spend every dollar on paper before the month begins. Every dollar has a name before the month begins. You prepare the budget. Now, then we call the budget committee meeting. Let's cover the rules for the budget committee meeting for the nerds first. Nerd, I want you to take the budget that you prepared, and I want you to set it on the table, slide it over to the free spirit, and shut up. That is rule #1. Shut up. The free spirits hear them. They are sick and tired of your preaching. They are sick of hearing, yeah, you got it. They're sick and tired of hearing Dave Ramsey say it. They're sick and tired of every mistake they ever made since 1962. You know? They don't want to hear any more of your theories. Shut up. It's on the paper. Slide it over. You've got a whole lot of opinions. They're right there on the paper. Let the free spirit look at it. Rule #2, nerds, is this is a meeting. It is not a weekend-long budget summit. When you are dealing with a free spirit, you have a 17-minute window. After that, there came to the Financial Peace University thing. Their body may stay, but their spirit will leave. They're not going to hang out with you. Their eyes start to cross. They're not getting this. It's not fun for them. They don't enjoy this process. They're only there to have a vote. They're going to have their vote, and they're going to leave the voting booth. That's it. That's the whole deal from them. Now listen very, very carefully to me. If you are a nerd, there is one last rule, nerds. Listen very, very carefully. You must insist that the free spirit change some things in your budget. And the nerds are going, no! We don't want to change anything. It's right. If we change it, it will be wrong. I did it. It's right. We can't change it. Listen, nerds, we're tricking them to get them involved. All right, free spirits, raise your hand. All right, did I take up for you? Say yes. All right, so listen up, free spirits. You have a couple of rules for the budget committee meeting too. Rule number 1, free spirits, you must come to the meeting. Rule number 2, you must bring your brain. You have to give adult, mature input in the meeting. I want one isn't covered under that heading. You look at the budget and you go, honey, I think $1,800 might be a little high for green fees when we have $14 for food. And you make an adjustment there, like switching those two numbers. But you can't just go, I want more money for clothes. Okay, we're going to raise clothing by $200. That's fine, honey. Where's the $200 going to come from? I don't care. Who are you, the government? It has to come from somewhere, right? If we're going to raise a category by 200, we have to lower some others by the same amount. That's how this works. It balances. It's a neat concept, okay? So adult-like input says you change some things around by raising a few and lowering some others by that same amount so that we still end up with a 0. And rule number 3, free spirits, if you will work with your nerds on this, you will have the best quality relationship of any marriage you know. You will run into people everywhere who are in awe of the communication level in your marriage. It will totally transform how you communicate. It will bring a level of unity, a level of oneness to everything that you're doing, and then you'll start to win financially. It's worth it. But free spirits, there's a phrase that you have been saying. This is your last rule. You can never again say this phrase. And you use it all the time. We know you do, especially we nerds know it. Sometimes you say things like, whatever you want to do, honey. Wrong cop-out breath. You have to get in the game and place your vote. You both have a vote. We come into agreement. That's called unity. Both place their vote. No, just...
You're smarter than me. You take care of it. I'm going to go over here and mess up your plan, though.
And that's what free spirits do too often. No, you've got to place your vote, and then when the budget is done, we pinky swear and we spit shake, and this is a lock, baby. We don't do anything except what's on the budget. That is a promise. That's a contract. And if we're going to do something different than what's on that budget, we have to come back and have an emergency budget committee meeting. Got it, free spirits? Say yes. Yes. All right, give Dan and Susan, our free spirits and our nerds, a hand. They're now working together.